Friends, I'm happy to announce that Straight Talk has partnered with Blue Line Roasting Company to bring you delicious coffee to enjoy while you listen to this podcast. Blue Line Roasting Company also serves our first responders by giving a portion of all net proceeds to numerous organizations who support them. Order today at bluelineroasting.com. That's bluelineroasting.com. And don't forget, when you join the Straight Shooter VIP Club, you'll receive a free coffee sample and a mug, plus invitations to private podcast events. Then the elitists from the GOP want to talk about flawed McConnell, flawed candidate. We need better candidates. No. You need to start raising money. Get off your rear ends and stop being out hustled by the Democrats. You are listening to Straight Talk, and I'm your host, America's Sheriff David Clark. Welcome to the podcast. The United States Marines, they have a code, they have a saying. One that I really like as it relates to political warfare. Not for the Marines, but for me anyway. And it says, not just in battle, but every day, we never leave a Marine behind. If you see a fellow Marine who needs help, step up and step in. You know who doesn't believe in that code? The Republican Party, both at the federal and the state level. And you see it over and over and over again when a Republican official gets into trouble or is attacked by the left, and other Republicans just kind of stand by and watch the individual twist in the wind, watch the individual take on the attacks, and they don't offer any support or any help. You know who knows how to do that? The Democrats. They always circle the wagons around their embattled, no matter who it is, no matter how dastardly, no matter what they were engaged in, they're at least going to initially put up a fight. I remember when former Congressman John Conyers from Michigan was caught up in that Me Too thing with his involvement with sexual assault, and he had a nasty case of it, victim after victim after victim. And Nancy Pelosi took to the microphone and called John Conyers a great American with everything that he had been accused of. She held on for as long as she could with him. But the more victims that came out that were claiming they were sexually harassed by Conyers, she finally had to give up the fight, but she at least tried to. And you've seen that with other Democrats. How about Eric Swalwell? Accused of having a sexual relationship with a Chinese spy, for heaven's sakes, and he sat on a powerful House committee. He wasn't removed. Other Democrats didn't jump in and jump on top of him, and he survived. So what brings me to talking about this today is this latest attack on United States Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas. He has been a favorite whipping post of the left ever since he was sworn into office in 1991. They have been on him. There'll be periods of time where they leave him alone, but they're always coming back to him. They're always going to come around to smear him, trying to take him down. Harassment. That's exactly what it is. Pure harassment of one of the most distinguished members of the United States Supreme Court and one of the most knowledgeable. Nominated by George Herbert Walker Bush, like I said, 1991. And they haven't let up on him, and they're starting again. The most recent one, the attacks on Clarence Thomas and his character and his integrity, involves this ProPublica investigation into Clarence Thomas that found for 20 plus years the Supreme Court justice, quote, has been treated to luxury vacations by billionaire Republican donor Harlan Crow. ProPublica. They are financed in part by Pew Research, a pure left-leaning research firm. donor to leftist causes. So what they try to do, and this is the Democrats' MO. They try to draw blood, and then a feeding frenzy starts. Have you ever seen Piranha? That's what the Democrats are like. They see blood in the water, and a feeding frenzy starts. And so our guy, and I say that affectionately because I know Justice Thomas, I know him personally. I know him well. That doesn't cloud my judgment about him. If he's wrong, but he's not wrong here and hasn't been wrong. He's just a whipping post for the left. So you get this ProPublica hit piece. That's what it is, a hit piece on Clarence Thomas, throwing out all these allegations. And by the way, George Soros is behind this too. He's another one that funds ProPublica. And by the way, ProPublica professes to be this nonpartisan entity. Even though they're financed by these left-leaning PACs and these left-leaning funders, they try to pass themselves off as nonpartisan. They are not nonpartisan. They are hard left, liberals, progressives. So they insinuate that Clarence Thomas is doing something wrong because he has friends. Here's some of the claims. Clarence Thomas secretly accepted luxury trips from major GOP donors. And this from NPR. I'm reading from a Washington Times story on this. NPR, a major GOP donor took Justice Clarence Thomas on many trips not disclosed. And this from the USA Today. Biden confronts Clarence Thomas scandal after luxury trips revealed. And this from the Washington Post. Clarence Thomas is reported receiving only 2 gifts since 2004. And this from The Hill. Democrats vow to investigate Justice Thomas. So you see how they start this feeding frenzy, and then everybody joins in. And it's well organized. It's a well-organized character assassination because everybody jumps in. You got Biden making a comment. Very organized. You have Democrats on the Hill prepared a letter. Here from the Hill again, the site The Hill. A group of 16 congressional Democrats asked Supreme Court Justice John Roberts to investigate the luxury trips that Justice Clarence Thomas has accepted from a major Republican donor for more than 2 decades. 8 senators and 8 representatives, Democrats, sent Roberts a letter on Friday to urge him to initiate an investigation into any unethical and potentially unlawful, potentially. None of this is, first of all, what he did wasn't wrong, but second, they can't prove it. They know it. This is a hit piece. And potentially unlawful conduct that Thomas might have committed. The letter states that the court has barely acknowledged the allegations so far. We believe it is the duty of Chief Justice to safeguard public faith in the judiciary, and that fulfilling that duty requires swift, thorough, independent, and transparent investigations into the ProPublica report. You got to be kidding me. Anyway, this is their MO. They're good at it. But here's what bothers me, and it has for a long time about the Republican Party. Justice Thomas, sat there for about the first 7 days of this report, the first week, and he didn't say anything. I'm not saying he should have. But what I was thinking during those first 7 days, where's the help? Where's the help? Why weren't prominent Republicans coming to the defense of someone under attack, one of ours under attack, like the Marine Creed says, we never leave a Marine behind. If you see a fellow Marine who needs help, step up and step in. So I said, where's the help? The Democrats have a circle the wagons mentality. Whenever their people are embattled, look what they did in Tennessee. You had those 3 idiot members of the Tennessee Assembly, Democrats, who crashed a hearing, an assembly hearing, causing it to shut down. That's not peaceful protest. And you had these 3 galoots who were up in the middle of it. And they were expelled from the Tennessee Assembly by the GOP-controlled assembly. Good for them. Good for the GOP assembly, at least in the beginning. Then they backed off. Another problem I have with the GOP. There's no fight in them. Nothing that lasts. But anyway, everybody came to the defense of these 3 idiot Tennessee Assembly people, Democrats. Vice President Kamala Harris parachuted in, stepping over the dead bodies of the 6 who were killed in that school shooting, that Christian school shooting, a week before, stepping over the bodies to get to the microphone to defend these 3 idiots, Democrats from the Tennessee Assembly. The Vice President of the United States. Joe Biden invited these 3 to the White House. You see how they treat their embattled? They circle the wagons. They don't leave anyone behind. They come to the aid of their embattled. But not the GOP. They leave ours twisting in the wind. Clarence Thomas twisted in the wind and served as a piñata for the Democrat left to just take whacks at. This is sickening. So I kept asking, where is the help? Because this is not the first time this has happened. This is what Republicans do. When one of theirs is under attack, they flee. They run for cover. They hide under the desk and let these people twist in the wind. They have no Marine mentality. You know that creed, we leave no person behind. When we see somebody in trouble, we step up and step in. So the Democrats got 16 members, 8 House and 8 Senate, to sign this letter to John Roberts asking for a full investigation of the potentially illegal activity on behalf of Clarence Thomas. Where was the letter of support for Clarence Thomas from the GOP? Why didn't they author a letter just praising the work that Clarence Thomas has done on the United States Supreme Court and acknowledge we have full faith in Clarence Thomas? You don't see the Republicans do that. When one of theirs is under attack, it's like, you're on your own. But some of the cavalry came. Took a little while. You know who the first one to step up was? A person who I like, but I've been critical of in the last couple of podcasts because, like I said, when I see one of ours that is misstepped or doing something they shouldn't be engaged in, I point it out. You know who the first to step up was? Go ahead and guess. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene. She did it on social media, but she put out a tweet. I'll read the tweet. AOC, that idiot from New York, Ocasio-Cortez, wants to impeach great Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas. We won't let her. But I will gladly take a play out of her playbook. It's time to talk to my Republican colleagues about impeaching federal judges who politically weaponized their bench and their courtrooms. Marjorie Taylor Greene, the first to step up in support of Clarence Thomas, having his back, not seeing somebody under attack and leaving him out there to fight this by himself. Clarence Thomas did issue a statement, but he shouldn't have had to. And I think the reason he felt compelled to do so, because for a week, he was subjected to this barrage of smears, character assassinations, insinuations with no evidence, lies. He was probably waiting for the cavalry to show up, and they never did. Where was Mitch McConnell? Where was the RNC? Where was Ronna Romney McDaniel issuing a statement in support of Clarence Thomas and shaming the left for this character assassination on a fine American? Where were they? And then a couple days later, another Republican with courage stepped in, but that's two. Colorado Republican Representative Lauren Boebert. And this from the Conservative Brief site, conservativebrief.com. Colorado Republican Representative Lauren Boebert sounded off this week over the latest attempts to smear U.S. Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas. Democrats have taken their war against Justice Thomas to another level, imploring Chief Justice John Roberts to now step in as some discuss impeachment, while others in the party press for Thomas to resign. See, this is how the Democrats fight. This thing points out, too, that I'm reading from. It says, a group of 16 congressional Democrats has called on Roberts to investigate Thomas for accepting luxury trips from a prominent Republican donor for over 2 decades, trips that by current rules, and that's key, and standards, he was not required to report. Thomas, in his statement, said, I sought legal opinion on this before I started engaging in it, and they said this is not reportable under the rules. He wasn't hiding anything. He wasn't required to report this. And besides that, this Republican donor been a good friend of Thomas and his wife for a very long time. Are we suggesting that these Supreme Court justices, any of them, can't have friends? Are supposed to leave the United States Supreme Court and go into a cave? Can never get together with anybody? Can't go on vacation with friends? No one has suggested that a case came before the Supreme Court involving this donor that Justice Thomas presided over. Nobody's alleging that because it doesn't exist. So Lauren Boebert says this is a quote, the left will endlessly attack a patriot like Justice Clarence Thomas, but say nothing as George Soros' son visits the White House on what is essentially a monthly basis, Boebert tweeted. As noted by Boebert, the George Soros family has its tentacles deep within the Biden administration. Since Joe Biden took office, Soros' son has visited top officials at the White House 14 times. Why hasn't the GOP made an issue of that? I thought this was pathetic, but it's typical of the Republican Party. I have another instance of this that's happened in the state of Wisconsin, where I'm from, but I won't get into that today. But there was another Republican operative that came under attack by the left, and he was allowed to twist in the wind and had to defend himself. He had done nothing wrong. These are just smears, accusations, and like I said, insinuations. And then you're supposed to respond to them. By the way, I came to the defense of this Republican operative in Wisconsin in that situation. I was one of the only few that did. Because I believe in that code, that Marine code, when we see one of ours in trouble, we will step up and step in. I believe in that. So if you're a conservative, Republican operative, and you get into trouble, and I don't even mean trouble that you actually engaged in. I'm talking about trouble where you come under attack, and I've been under the watchful eye of the Democrats and the left for the last 20 years. I've faced the same thing, and I've had to fight by myself. It's shameful to see this sort of thing happen to any conservative or Republican and have nobody step up. It's pathetic. So my advice to you, you're out there, you get into trouble, the left creates this feeding frenzy. Don't expect any help to show up. The cavalry is not coming. Well, just when you thought it couldn't get any better, Mike Lindell and MyPillow are launching the MyPillow 2.0. When Mike invented MyPillow, it had everything you could ever want in a pillow. Now, nearly 20 years later, he discovered a new technology that makes MyPillow even better. The MyPillow 2.0 has the patented adjustable fill of the original MyPillow, and now with the brand new fabric that is made with a temperature-regulating thread. The MyPillow 2.0 is the softest, smoothest, and coolest pillow you'll ever own. Say goodbye to tossing and turning and flipping your pillow over in the middle of the night. And more great news on the MyPillow 2.0. A buy one, get one free offer with promo code Clark. MyPillow 2.0, with its temperature-regulating technology, is 100% made in the USA and comes with a 10-year warranty and a 60-day money-back guarantee. Just go to MyPillow.com and click on the radio podcast square to receive the MyPillow 2.0 buy one, get one free offer. Just when you thought MyPillow couldn't get any better, it does. MyPillow 2.0 gives you the best pillow ever. Enter promo code Clark, that's CLARKE, to get your MyPillow 2.0 now.
Follow Bulldog TV on Facebook to join the fight against communism in America. A growing community of patriots are joining together to take back the media. Bulldog TV, Americans fighting for America.
Attention, patriots. Looking for a great book? Let me recommend The Greatest Story Ever Told. The We the People Bible is available for the first time in history. This Bible is for those who believe it is time to give America back to God. Faith is being targeted, and our country's founding beliefs are being targeted. The We the People Bible is restoring what there is an attempt to remove: the preservation of faith and the preservation of America. One of the most unique features of this Bible is that it includes the Declaration of Independence, the Bill of Rights, the Constitution, and the Pledge of Allegiance as a bonus. This makes it a perfect heirloom to pass on to the generations to come. It is time to give America back to God, and this Bible is a great way to do just that. Get one for yourself and another as a gift for a friend or family member. Go to americasheriff.com and click on the Bible link to order today while supplies last. Friends, I want to thank you for listening to today's episode of Straight Talk with yours truly, America Sheriff David Clark. And a special thank you also goes out to our sponsors. My goal, as always, is to break down these complex and many times controversial issues and bring it to you straight with a little dose of common sense, no media bias, no talking points, just truth. And this podcast would not be possible without your support. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, please leave a review at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite place to listen. And please share this message of common sense on social media. For more content, be sure to follow me on Truth Social, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And just a reminder, we'd love for you to join our Straight Shooters VIP Podcast Club for only $5 per month. And with that membership, you'll receive invitations to attend private podcast events throughout the year as a VIP guest when we come to your town. Plus, if you join today, you'll also receive a free coffee mug and a sample of our private label coffee as long as supplies last. Subscribe and join at americasheriff.com. This podcast is brought to you by AmericaSheriff.com with executive producer Judy Wilkinson of J.L. Wilkinson Consulting and producer Josh Wentz in partnership with our friends at Bulldog Media. If you are interested in partnering with Straight Talk Podcasts or having me speak in your area, please contact Judy at jlwilkinsonconsulting@gmail.com, 706-518-2116. That's jlwilkinsonconsulting@gmail.com. Phone number 706-518-2116.